This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium short take. This Infinium short take is entitled The Stepdad Virtue Signals. Now, my MGTOW brothers, Disney recently put out a Christmas-centric short film called The Stepdad, where a black man becomes the stepdad for a family of another race. Now, my brothers, CGA and RPM have already done some excellent commentary and coverage of this movie, and I would encourage you to check out their commentaries and see what they have to say about this. And also, I would encourage you to go out and look at the movie itself if you can stomach it and not vomit at the end of it. But I just wanted to put out some commentary about the layers of virtue signaling which are going on within this movie. And basically, I have 4 points. And number one, it is directly targeted at black men, both as a put down of their value. Your worth is only as you're worthy is only as a cleanup man, and the reinforcement of the do your duty thing. So basically, what this movie is saying to black men in general is that you have no value other than to be a cleanup man. And as RPM has kind of pointed out, back in the day, we good black men, so to speak, were considered as cleanup men. And there were even some songs even made back then about the cleanup man. But again, what this movie is saying to black men specifically is that you can only rise to a level of being a cleanup man, where you clean up the mess of a single mother or a woman, and you have no aspirations in terms of getting a virtuous woman. You have no aspirations of getting somebody that you know will have your back or anything like that. You have no aspirations of such. You have only the capability of cleaning up the quote unquote trash, so to speak. And that is a difficult thing to understand sometimes, but that's what that is. And also, again, it is a reinforcement of the do your duty thing. And basically what it is you're being told as a black man that you must do your duty. I'll take into reference Dr. Boyce Watkins, a black man who quote unquote is highly esteemed or something like that. He basically said the same thing that this movie is saying here, that black men need to marry single mothers. But in this case, he was referring to black single mothers. But in any case, he was saying that black men had to do their duty by marrying single mothers. But this movie has another take on that. It is black men have to do their duty by marrying single mothers in general, not just black single mothers. It is single mothers in general. You have to do your duty. There's no way for you as a black man to go your own way, to be free or anything like that, have your life the way you want it. You must do your duty. And that's the way it is. Number two, it is okay to be a target during cuffing season because you as a black man will not be alone. Now, if you look at the movie, it shows the man as, first of all, being alone. He gets up with his family. They integrate, and along the way, they become the happy little family. And you see all the little stars going off at the end, little Disney animation characters flying around at the end, and they're all happy. It shows the man's family, his family, being happy in-laws with his mixed race family, his mixed race, mixed up family, this type of thing. It's saying basically again, you will not be alone. And my brothers, what is the main shaming tactic that is thrown at us as MGTOW men by all women when they find that we refuse to date, we refuse to cohabitate or marry? It is, you will die alone. And in this movie, it is virtue signaling that the only way that you cannot die alone is to get with a woman, a single mother, with her family, and you will not be alone. It will be happy life, happy wife. It will be, well, actually, it's a happy wife, happy life, that type of thing. But it will be, the kids will love you. It will be all these types of things. It will be happily ever after, as Disney puts it. But again, it is saying basically that you need to be a target. This is cuffing season, and you are to lay down your life and lay down your freedom and be entrapped into something that could destroy you. Number 3, it is okay to swirl. Particularly if black women don't want you, there are plenty of other wonderful women of other races who are willing to entrap you as a black man into their Venus flytraps. And so, my brothers, again, there is a known culture of black women not treating their black men right. And that's out there, just as the MGTOW philosophy is out there in the ether, so to speak, out there in the mainstream. That is also out there. You'll see many movies made about this type of thing. You see all the issues that are going on. You'll see all these things that are being said. So it is known that in general, there is a culture of black women not treating black men right. And accordingly, because of the overabundance of women and overabundance of single mothers, and yes, there are single mothers of every race, there is now a push to get black men into the fold in terms of dating, cohabitating with, and marrying single mothers of other races. And what this is saying that again, if black women don't want you, black single mothers don't want you, then you have an opportunity with a woman, a single mother of another race, to make good on that, to have that happy life because your wife is happy, so to speak. But in reality, my brothers, it is all false. It is not something, again, that a black man or a man of any race should be doing, because it will not, in most cases, work out for him. And it is a trap, whether or not you are black, white, whatever. As a man, it is nothing more than a trap to take your freedom away. It is not something about black men shouldn't date white women. It's not anything about that. It is about the loss of freedom that you as a black man, you as a white man, you as an Asian man, you as a Latino man will lose, particularly if you marry a single mother in this day and age. And, there are other things. I've seen videos. So there was a video I saw a few weeks ago where an Asian woman, she basically said, I have a scam for every type of man out there. I can act Asian, and that will get them. I can act like a sad person, that will get them. All types of things. That's what's going on. So again, it's not okay to swirl, my brothers. Again, whether you're a black man who has a white woman, white single mother, whatever, batting her eyes at him. It's not okay because it is highly dangerous to you. Number 4, there is a reverse logic counterflow targeting process going on for men and women of other races. One that will ensure, for instance, white men swirling with black single mothers. So, for instance, basically there is a method in their madness. So what they're doing on one level, and again, I've always said, look at the levels before you try to make a full determination of what's going on, but look at the layers, I'd say. And again, if you look at this very closely, there is a reverse counterflow targeting process going on. And that is to create pressure on men and women of other races to swirl. And basically, if, for instance, you are a black single mother and you find that black men are not really coming after you, you begin to go after white men. Same thing with Asians. Like again, before the point before, point number 3, this Asian woman said that I have a trap for every type of race. So again, if you find that, again, black men are going after single mothers of other races, you as a black woman will begin to go after men of other races to counteract what is going on. But basically, again, this is a virtue signal, overall virtue signal, that if black men are being positioned as targets for women of other races, single mothers of other races, then we black women can position white men, Latino men, Asian men, any type of man who is not black for the same thing, for the same entrapment into our Venus flytraps. My brothers, again, there may be some more. If you have any commentary on it or comments or thoughts about it, I'd like to know. Just put them in the comment section. But again, the main thing that we all as free MGTOW men must understand is that this is a highly dangerous time in every way possible. It is cuffing season. It is also the high holy simp days. These are the days when it is expected that men simp out, so to speak, where they run out to the florist and buy that roses, or buy a car, go to the car dealership, and if they can get a car, they buy that car. Or if they see a woman in the grocery store and that woman happens to bat her eyes, and then the next thing you know, you're sitting before the fireplace sipping wine, and then the next thing you know, you're running out to Zales and buying a engagement ring, and the next thing you know, you're running down the aisle to her, or she's coming down the aisle to you, so that she can get you entrapped into her Venus flytrap. And there are also the horror stories that, like RPM was saying in his commentary, the things that were shown in the movie are diametrically opposed to the realities. And I can also add in my horror story of my first engagement, that the woman that I thought was a Christian and somebody that would never do what she did had actually a kid and was hiding it from me. And if it wasn't for another single mother who told me flat out that I as a single mother would marry myself, who actually had the gumption to warn me and to state to me that if I was to marry this woman, she would get up in my wedding and protest and say that what was going on. But again, there's horror story after horror story. It is not the Disney characters flying around and the little sparklers going on. It is horror stories. It is horror stories of, like me, again, finding out that this woman was hiding a kid from me. It's horror stories of running around back and forth, state to state, in family court, like a relative of mine who is who was married to a white guy who she did these things to. It is all these things. It is being divorced, raped. It is having your kids taken away from you. It's all these horror stories. It is not happily ever after, as this movie portrayed it to be. And that's what's so sad and sick about it. It is detestable, my brothers, what is going on. It is, again, horror story after horror story. It is things so horrific. Again, when this all came out about this woman and her hiding the kid from me, I could not fathom why somebody would do something like this. And it was not only that, her whole family, which they were Christians, they were quote unquote Christians, they were all known Christians, and they professed Christ and blah blah blah, but they did this thing to me, and I was made out to be the bad guy. I was made out to be the failure. So again, my brothers, is not only my experiences, it is experiences of many other men who have been thrown into jail, have had 5-0 called on them, and dragged away, even though the woman was at fault. All these things, who've had their property destroyed, had their property taken away from them, had their names put on to birth certificates when they were not involved at all. All these types of things is diametrically opposed to what this movie is portraying for this black man. And again, this is not a thing of about how black men are separated from white men or this and that, or distinct or anything like that. It is just saying that we as men, we are being targeted by the feminist plantation state in every way possible. It is the same thing where for instance, the feminist plantation state will come out and say that the MGTOW philosophy was created by white nationalists, that type of thing. It is all that type of hogwash that is going on. So, and it's more so about the enslavement of all men of all races, and the devaluation of all men of all races, which I'm trying to point out, my brothers, that's what's going on, and that's what's so detestable about these things. Again, on face value, it looks so sweet and happy, and they got the little gingerbread cake and cake out house or whatever, and they do all these things and they're happy, but my brothers, again, it is just despicable in my view, because again, we as men, no matter what race, no matter what creed, we deserve to be free, and we deserve to be valued more than wage slaves, more than somebody or some slave that can be entrapped into a Venus flytrap of a woman. We deserve more than that, my brothers. And that is why, again, we MGTOW and red pill content producers constantly stress, hold the line. We constantly stress, consume those red pills, and we constantly stress, embrace daily the MGTOW philosophy, because that's the only way that you, my brothers, can be free in this time, which is so dangerous to us. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Short Take. My MGTOW brothers, now more than ever, always, now more than ever, I should say, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.